Good morning, Jersey Belle family, and welcome to this morning's coffee talk. Today is 9/11, and I wanted to talk to you guys about where I was on September 11th, 13 years ago. I don't know if you saw the article I posted yesterday by NJ.com, but in my previous life, I taught special education in Jersey City at a high school called Dickinson High School. And I was also doing PR on the side, so I would work PR at night and then teach high school during the day, and then coach cheerleading, and then go to work in the city. But I was young. We could do a lot when we're young. And on September 11th, 13 years ago, one of my students came in late and said, "Miss P, a plane hit a building in New York. I was outside smoking and I saw it." And "Why were you outside smoking?" The whole thing. And he was like, "I'm not kidding, Miss P. The plane hit the building and the building is on fire." And I thought, that can't be right. So I opened the blinds in my classroom and I could see smoke across the Hudson just billowing into the sky. And I thought, surely that can't be what I think it is. And so I opened my classroom door and there was so much chatter from teachers in the hallway, and I knew something big was happening. So I told my students to stay put, and I went up the steps and out the doors of the building and looked. Dickinson High School sits right on the water. I could see New York City was our view. I could see one of the Twin Towers, what was happening. I could see the smoke, and I thought, why would a pilot hit the building? How did he not see the building? It never occurred to me that it was a terrorist. It didn't even occur to me. I thought the pilot, I don't know, fell asleep. I was so naive to what it takes to even fly a plane that I had no idea. Well, unfortunately, we didn't know another one was coming, so we all went outside to see what was going on. The students became very restless. A lot of them had parents working in the city, and they didn't want to stay in the building. And there was something in the air where the rules as a teacher just didn't make sense that day. The stay in your seat, that whole thing. We knew that something was not right. So we all went outside and saw the second plane come and hit the building. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was like a movie. It was like a Will Smith movie. And still, it didn't occur to me that maybe it was terrorism. I still thought that it must have been human error, because for me to believe that there could be the human capacity for that much hate and destruction was not something that I could even fathom anymore at that stage of my life. I was a different person then, so I was operating from a place of love, and I became extremely protective over my students. They were, as you can imagine, a wreck. And when the news began to question as to whether the buildings would fall or not, we tried to get the students back inside, because that's not something that you want them to see. But 3,300 kids who speak 10, 15 different languages, it was very difficult. The things that my students had to see that day, the things that we saw on that the rest of the country saw on television, are things that you couldn't forget even if you wanted to, even if you tried. I lived with 3 girls at the time, one of whom taught with me and was with me at the school. But the other girl was in the city, and we didn't hear from her for 10 hours. We didn't know if she was alive or dead. We didn't know what we were going to tell her mother. When she came walking in the door late that night and explained to us that she had walked from the city across the Brooklyn Bridge, or whatever it was that she had to do, covered in, I mean, you can't imagine what people go through. So today's coffee talk is a lesson in appreciation for things we take for granted, not just today, but every day. Starting with freedom. Freedom to turn your internet on and watch this coffee talk and not have to worry about a government sanctioning you or pulling your husband out the front door and shooting him or taking your children. Be thankful today for the things that we are afforded that other people are not. That we live in a country that decided they would not stand for what happened on 9/11. And for a city like New York, who was so strong and said, okay, this was tough, but we're going to rebuild and we're going to come back. I was so proud to be from people who were from New York City. I was so proud to live in the tri-state area. I was so proud to see what everybody was getting up and doing every day to make it right. Today, please, regardless of your political affiliation or whatever it is that you feel, just be thankful and proud to be an American. Don't bash the president. Don't bash your neighbor. Don't bash anybody. Just be thankful for the things that we take for granted every day. And this coffee talk is from Michelle Hoffman, who graduated from Freehold Township High School. Because I know a lot of her friends are heartbroken today. Be good to each other today. I love you.